There is a fine balance between making sure that you make the most of the capacity that you have, and as we all know, the satellite capacity is the biggest cost for service providers. So between managing that capacity and making sure that you extract the most bandwidth out of it and the most users, and on the other side making sure that your customers don't suffer congestion and you can meet the SLAs, that fine balance is, I think, from my point of view, the most important thing. So especially on mobility networks, that complicate things even further, because having multiple satellite networks, multi-beams, and users that are moving and roaming between one and the other, the capacity can change depending on the seasons of the year. It can be down to unexpected changes of the routes of those mobile terminals. So what we do is, as part of using systems to help us to manage that capacity, is we're also having our own guys looking at very closely managing how that capacity is moving across, and finding out whether we have enough capacity or we have to provide new capacity. How close we are to being in an orange zone before we get to red. Networks are getting very complicated these days, and we're mixing and matching these different types of technologies to build the end-to-end network, the end-to-end hosting the end-to-end service. I would say that it's very important to have an overarching, an umbrella network management system that can do, I would say, two things. One is to allow network operators to be able to monitor and control all the different systems and elements that build that end-to-end network, whether they are satellite elements or RF equipment, networking equipment, etc., etc. And on the second point, I would say it's also very important to manage the service from using the service management platform, effectively to allow the operators that are on the front line to provide customer support to understand how the services are linked with infrastructure. So if there is an issue, first thing that an operator needs to know is what services are affected and why, and can correlate different parts of the infrastructure with those services that have been affected by it. So I would say that a holy grail management system is to be providing at least these two things, and probably a few other things as well. I think we haven't used these systems as such yet, although we're monitoring what is in offer at the moment. There are a few suppliers that are coming up with new ideas, with systems that are use artificial intelligence. I think what these systems will bring, the value that they will bring, is they will allow us to process very large amounts of data and finding patterns that are not easily found with the current systems. And the main benefit of processing all this amount of data, finding those patterns, is the fact that we will be able to offer predictions of issues that might happen in the future, depending on certain prediction models. So an operator may find out a lot earlier in advance whether more capacity could be needed, whether there is a danger that a certain part of the network may become congested, or certain equipment could be affected. So I think this is something that will add more value in terms of the proactive maintenance and preemptive engineering.